all the talk was about the title race and how today really could be a defining moment in that. Did you feel like it was, given that it finished in a draw? Did we learn anything new about who will win come the end of the season?
I think these two teams, the level of football is big. Inter's much better footballing team than Napoli. I think the level of character and Grit. You understand what I'm saying? Is the other way. I think that Napoli have much more of that than Inter do. And that's where they almost equal in the middle. Mm-hmm. I think the 4-point gap is representative of those differences that the teams have. Because if you watch an Inter side against this Napoli side, they should eat them alive. And they didn't today. They came up against, it's like you're trying to go pick up a porcupine. and you get hurt every time. Every time they thought they had Napoli, they got hurt in a different way. And I also think we'll take a look at it later, but Inter missed so many moments in the game. I thought also some of their big players went missing. I'm not sure Barella had his best game. I'm not sure Lautaro Martinez had his best game. I'm not sure Bastoni had his best game. Those are the guys that carry the Inter flag for them that are very important, and I don't think they had their best game. And on the flip side, when you look at the most important player of Napoli, it's probably Lobotka and McTominay. I thought they had very good games. Obviously, McTominay was fantastic, so he showed up in a big way. And that was the difference. Obviously, it had everything in between. Antonio Conte getting the red card. It was big action, big energy.
Even this late chance, though, for Inter, they did have the better of them late on in the game. Here's just another look at the goal, though.
Yeah, this is the goal. It just looks like a bunch of mannequins defending this. And I've never seen, personally, at the highest level, I've never seen balls drop inside your box so often. And we said it at halftime, and we said it before the game, and I said it last week, and I said it the week before that. You have to know where Scott McTominay is at all times. He is enemy number one if you're Inter, and you need to know where he is. And being this close is not enough. You need to be holding him and grabbing him and touching him.
Why couldn't they do that?
And you need to be ball side, goal side. Guys just get caught ball watching, and he shows up late, and he shows up with perfect timing as well. So credit to him as well. Like, his first finish is fantastic. He runs back post, then times at the near post to get in front of Akanji. But you to players like him, you need to be touch tight, they call it. You need to be close. You need to be grabbing him. You need to be feeling him. You need to be smelling his breath. You have to smell his breath on the times that they're going to enter inside the box. I think that's really important, and they didn't do that. And then there was just so many fundamental. The amount of times Napoli's goalkeeper, Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, punched the ball or just kicks it. We showed in the pregame as well, and the ball bounces is insane. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is just a long ball from the goalkeeper. Look at Bastoni there. He just ducks underneath it. This is the first play of the game, by the way. This is we talk about setting the tone. This ball, Akanji is not close enough. Zielinski, look at Zielinski there. He lets McTominay go. He does 95% of the work. This one is a ball again from the goalkeeper. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. You're not going to win Champions League. You're not going to win Serie A if you can't defend. You can't defend goal kicks. You can't defend the goalkeeper punting. This one, another drive-by by Bastoni. Bastoni letting the ball drop in his own end from a punt from the goalkeeper. I've never seen that. This one, they play with 5 at the back to be able to get out to that, to close it. This ball bounces as well inside the box. And then McTominay's, no one's touching him. No one's close enough there. And so when you don't get, we come in here every week and we say, wow, the patterns of play are fantastic. The passing, the movements, we show it. And it really is, and it's fantastic, and it's high-level stuff from Inter, and it's why they've been in some really big moments and big games and having the chance to win silverware. But the fundamentals win you games, and the fundamentals they didn't do in big moments. Zielinski's got to go the extra 2 yards there to stay with McTominay. He's got to follow him, or he's got to be able to pass him on. Too many balls. I mean, I know when I've played in certain levels, if I see a ball go up in the air and hit the grass, I know I'm playing a low-level game. I know I'm playing against a low-level side. In the biggest of moments, in the biggest games, if you go watch Arsenal play. Go watch some of these teams that have dominated this year or in the past years. You'll never see a ball go up in the air and hit the ground. Never. But at Inter, it happened like 5-6 times today. That's concerning to me.
Another thing that you were talking about during the game was Lautaro. He wasn't at his best today. Is that fair to say, when they needed him the most? Nowhere
to be found in the game, in the big moments. Didn't look dangerous. Hold up play. He made Juan Jesus look like a good player. Physically, at the end, I thought with 20 minutes left to go, he was done. He was gassed. Yeah, he makes a few defensive plays for his team, but I thought he was really poor in the match today, and they had a slow start. Both him and Thuram. Then Thuram came into the game a little bit better, but Boni comes into the game, knocks down Politano, sets up the Mkhitaryan chance that hits the post. Did essentially more in a minute and a half of an introduction to the game than Lautaro did in 70 minutes or whatever it may be. This was the one where he absolutely waits Politano, goes to Mickey. Mickey also came in off the bench and hits this through the legs, takes a deflection, hits the post at the end of the game. By the way, in the matchup against Napoli, now this is a third post in 2 games. So yeah, but for me, that's not the story, though. The story of the match is that they were not good enough, and they didn't do the fundamentals, and they didn't show that they're much better team than Napoli.
Would you have taken Lautaro off earlier than what he came off then?
Absolutely.
And you would have put Bonnie on to offer more?
60th minute, for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you're exhausted,
yeah,
you've got to come out of the match. And also, he was poor in the first half as well.
It's something that we've talked about a lot this season. Big game jitters, maybe, because against the smaller clubs, he's fantastic. Against the bigger clubs, doesn't quite have the same output. 3 assists, 6 goals against the bottom 10. Against the top 10, he's got 4 goals, but it feels like it's more dramatic than even what the graphic shows, doesn't it? And sometimes we talk about, is that warranted? Because all 3 points at the end of the season count the same if he's scoring against Lecce or if he's scoring against Napoli. But is this a problem for Lautaro?
I think he'll be frustrated with himself and with his own performance today. Absolutely. There's a play in the game, I think, that sums up his performance. He gets a step on Juan Jesus, and the ball goes in his favor, and he gets in front of him, which he's really good at. He's good with his body, protecting balls. He gets in front of Juan Jesus, and he's got a jump on him, and he's got 2 yards on him, and he's alone with the goalkeeper. And Juan Jesus catches him, rounds him, and Lautaro not only doesn't finish the play with a shot on target or a goal, he actually loses possession also in that moment. I know he was tired in that moment, but for me, that was very telling that I think in moments, physically, his speed he's so slow, and when his hold-up play is not there either, then it's really not a good performance. And then this is the game. It's like, show us. This is you're the man. You're the guy there. You're the most important piece maybe, and they didn't show it. And if you put his performance, Barella's performance, and Bastoni's performance, if you put their performances next to Scott McTominay's performance, I think that tells you a lot about how the result ended 2-2. Because McTominay showed up and hit the max of his potential and the max of his ability in the biggest of moments, in the biggest of games, down twice in the game. And those 3 didn't play at the best of their abilities today, I don't think. They didn't make the difference.
So what wins at the end of the season then? Is it the better footballing team, Inter, who had almost a complete full squad strength today? Or was it Napoli, who had so many pieces missing, and Gisa still to come back? Lukaku hopefully will come back at some point as well. So they're like 2 new signings for him, considering we haven't seen Lukaku for the first half of the season. And the grit and the heart of Conte's side, are you swinging more towards Napoli, or you still think it's going to be Inter come the end of the season? You
have to imagine the 4-point gap as a good representative. We're halfway through the season. I think that's what it is. I think it's a 2 or 3 point gap, which is tight, really tight. It's going to depend if Napoli make Champions League football. If Napoli stay in Champions League football, that's obviously going to weaken them. They're going to have to use all their depth, which they don't have a lot of right now. You would imagine as the season moves on, Napoli gets stronger. If Lukaku comes back, if Anguissa comes back, well, Anguissa we know is for sure going to come back. Napoli are going to get stronger. They're going to grow into the season. I think there's a stat that Antonio Conte gets way better in the second half of the season, so that's going to be a factor. But also, aside from the big matches, Inter have been pretty good. They've scored the most goals. They've created the most chances. This is not the end of the world for Inter either. They're sitting 6th in the Champions League, or 5th in the Champions League.
Comfortably in the top 8, right?
Correct. Playing good football. Kivu is still doing a fantastic job. It just, if you're an Inter fan, or you're even a neutral, it hurts you to see in the big games that I think they're missing what you said before, grit. Something.
You're dying to say it. Say it in Italian. Even the draw against Verona, though, overall, you've got to feel like it hasn't been the best week, right? Coming into this, with today's result, with the draw against Verona as well.
For Napoli?
Yeah. It was Napoli, wasn't it, that drew against Verona? Now they pick up the draw today. This one is worth a lot more than that draw against Verona. It's kind of balancing it out. But
even against Verona, Pop, they were down 2-0. And they showed unbelievable resilience to come back into the game. And then today, down 1-0, come back into the game. Down 2-1, come back into the game. And then had moments, by the way, it felt like they were almost going to go on and win the game. So I think it's totally impressive. I think Inter's this side that's like this, they like showing you all these tricks with these nunchucks. And then Napoli just goes bang and just whacks you in the face. And that's basically what it's been. And so it was, for me, incredible advert for Italian football, that the energy that they put into that game, no team really sat in. I think both teams went for it. It was a game where it was anyone's game in different moments. It was two teams that interpret the game totally differently, and it was just a lot of talent on display, and it was incredible effort for the game.
Crazy as well to think the odds were plus 400 for
Plus
Napoli
400.
coming into today. Was that, now looking back, a bit disrespectful that they were such big underdogs considering?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think they get caught in the same trap that most of us get caught in. When you look at the team sheet and you look at the players and you look at the talent of Inter, and you think Zielinski and you think Cialanoglu and you think Barella, Bastoni, Lautaro Martinez, Thuram, and then you look at the bench. Conte had no one on the bench, so with bookmakers look at that and go.
I mean, maybe when he got sent off, he thought there's no more changes I can make anyway.
And you look at it on paper and you get sucked into, wait, this team's way better than this team. But then there's something I don't think that you can calculate, and that's what we're talking about. It's the desire to win games. It's the resilience to win games. In the biggest of moments, are your big players going to show up? And everyone undervalues that, and Napoli have proved them wrong many times.
And maybe as well, the biggest point of that is Inter have struggled in the finals. Napoli already this season won the Supercoppa. They won it in Saudi Arabia. They have that feeling, don't they, of winning. And now it leaves things really interesting. 4 points, Grell. Is it going to come down to the last match day in Serie A, do you think?
It's going to be close, and don't count out Milan. And now also, listen, Juventus and Roma, you think they're levels behind, but with Milan drawing and these two teams drawing today, now that invites everyone back into the group.